Well, folks, here we are again for the weekly forecast. During this last week, we had two precipitation events. The first one occurred Saturday night into Sunday morning that impacted northeast Nebraska and the southern panhandle. The heaviest totals reported to just to the north of the Norfolk area up toward the South Dakota border. Where 2 to 3 inches were reported, and outside of that, ½ inch to 1.5 inches was very common. More importantly, the big widespread precipitation event occurred on Wednesday through Thursday morning, dropping 2 to 4 inches across a broad area of central through eastern Nebraska and essentially south of the Columbus area all the way toward Falls City. Heavy precipitation leading to localized flooding once again. This has been a persistent pattern now for the better part of 5 weeks. Unfortunately, we did have some drying early in the week, only to be followed up with this heavy precipitation event, and it looks like a similar pattern may be developing once again as we move through this next 7-day period. Heavy precipitation at the beginning of the forecast period, at the end of the forecast period, and scattered activity in between. So let's take a look at the upper area models and see what we have in store. Here's the energy that is expected to move through eastern Nebraska this afternoon. This little red cell here is a little vortex generating thunderstorm activity across the eastern half of the state. Localized heavy precipitation may be possible if thunderstorms get going good from east central Nebraska into northeast Nebraska. And then as we get into tomorrow, we will see that trough will push southward, but there will be a little bit of residual moisture left over, which will set up a convergence zone across eastern Kansas. Some of this moisture may make its way into southeastern Nebraska, but the heaviest of the precipitation should stay to our south. We may see some scattered afternoon thunderstorms develop across the high elevations of the panhandle, but most of that will remain to the west and will not propagate eastward. As we get into Monday, it looks to be the most benign of the days as the front tries to push that system toward our south, and we have an approaching front coming in from the northern plains, and that leaves us kind of in between system. So if we do see any precipitation, it will be during the prime eating hours of the afternoon there in the panhandle, and some scattered light precipitation very possible across extreme northern Nebraska. As we get into Tuesday, the system drags a little bit farther southward, increasing the likelihood of scattered shower and thunderstorm activity across southern South Dakota and northern Nebraska, and then this system will start to pull toward the northeast, bringing the moisture up to interact with this frontal boundary, which would increase the odds of precipitation materializing. As we get into Wednesday, the system pushes a little bit farther southward. This system starts to move toward the Great Lakes region, and so we'll see a convergence of the moisture across the central plains. So we'll see scattered thunderstorm activity developing from northeast and north central Nebraska, and maybe pushing a little bit forward toward the Kansas border during the afternoon and evening hours. And this will continue on into Thursday as the system kind of lifts toward the Great Lakes. Will generate widespread heavy precipitation across the eastern Dakotas and eastern Nebraska, and then by Friday everything departs toward our northeast, and we are left high and dry at least for one day. As we look toward the temperature forecast, consistently looking at normal to above normal temperatures across the southern part of the state, and the northern part of the state a little bit cooler conditions as you're closer to the frontal boundary. As we look to the 8 to 14 day forecast from next Thursday to the following Tuesday, the warmer temperatures continue to the east of us, and in terms of precipitation we are still stuck in this persistent wet pattern.